School. We take it for granted. We think of it as just a place we go to learn about the world around us. But in reality, we learn more than just geography and history and math in school. School is where we learn to get along, to share, to make friends. It's at school that we take our first tentative steps into the community. School is where we grow up. Growing up and going to school. It's difficult to imagine one without the other. Yet there are thousands of children in Canada who until very recently were denied the right to attend their neighborhood school. This is the story of one such child. This is Jenny's story.
When Jenny was 6, she went to live in an institution. And she lived there until, she was about 10, I guess.
Yes.
10 and a half years old. So those are very difficult years to even remember or talk about now. And I guess it was something that we never really thought would ever happen to us, that's for sure.
I remember when my mother came over to babysit the other kids when we took Jenny to Palmerston, how she cried on the front lawn when we put Jenny in the car and took her away.
After spending several years in an institution in Palmerston, Ontario, Jenny returned to her home in Kitchener. There she was placed in a school for the mentally retarded, a segregated school where so-called normal kids would avoid coming into contact with the Jennies of the world.
Her school was a disappointment to us in the sense that she came back into this community and was placed in a segregated school. And it was in a class that was very inappropriate. The other kids were smaller than Jenny, and the room looked like it had been developed for grade 1, you know, that sort of thing.
Though dissatisfied with their daughter's situation, her parents accepted it. At the time, a segregated education was the only real alternative to institutionalization. Education consultant Dr. Marsha Forest.
In one way, we could say segregation's been a gigantic success because it has done what it's supposed to do. It's kept people apart from the rest of the society. On the other hand, we could say that segregation has been a terrible failure because it has hurt so many people, and one of those people is Jenny. Jenny didn't talk, Jenny was unhappy, Jenny had no friends. She was a product of the segregated system.
I know we didn't know really what it was that we were choosing. I don't think we had much choice. At least we didn't know if there was another choice. I think if we'd known what it was, we would have found something else.
That something else came along in the form of integration, a concept based on an amazingly simple bit of common sense. Let kids like Jenny attend their neighborhood school with children their own age.
Now that Jenny is part of our world, part of the integrated system, Jenny has friends, Jenny's happy, and most of all, Jenny's family has hope for the future.
Think of all the possibilities that the eyes of a child can see. Think of all the opportunities that float right by you and me. Take my hand and we will know all that we dream will be our own. Apart we are weak, together we're strong. Oh, people, we're all writing this song. We're all living these words together forever. There's no reason we can't live and be one. Build the world that we want together. For as long as you stand here by me, we'll live on.
The main criticism leveled at integration by its opponents is that it will somehow slow or impede the progress of the other students, that it will create a chaotic classroom. Initially, those fears were shared by Jenny's teachers.
One fear that a lot of the teachers have is that the presence of a high-needs student will be detrimental to the others in their academic gains and emotions and so on. In my class, I've found the opposite. Gives all of them a chance to grow. When they see Jenny in particular achieve something, they are cheering for her. They are really helping her in every way possible, and an achievement by Jenny is almost an achievement of their own as well. I found that my lack of training in special ed was not detrimental at all. This is kind of a pioneering situation at any rate, and I treated her as normally as possible, which is the key. And the fact that she's in a normal class, they're grade 11 and it's general level, and they come from varied backgrounds, I think really helped Jenny.
The students have grown in their response to the high-needs students and in response to each other. And I think not only a benefit for Jenny and the other high-needs students, but it's been a benefit for them in their own growth, in their own life. And certainly that's something that we hope will continue after they leave high school.
The key to the success of the Waterloo County's separate school board's integration program was the board's dedication to the program. The move towards integration was initiated and directed by the administration as a board-wide policy. The board's director of education, George Flynn.
Integration, in my view, is a process by which an educational environment is made whole, where separate parts, that is children, ordinary children, and children with special needs who have in the past been separated from the ordinary children, are brought together to form an educational whole. The most important point maybe to remember in this whole process of integration is that what children need is not integration. What children need is good quality education, all children. And by creating an educational whole, all children benefit, all children receive a higher quality education. I find in our own system that integration is working at all levels. The basic issue of integrating programs, people, and facilities is happening to the same extent and with the same benefits at the elementary level as at the secondary.
Ted attends a school next door to Jenny's.
One of my buddies is known as Kitchener. He's the one of the football team. They were carrying me on their shoulders. I'm taking English, history, math, and drama.
In my view, integration is such an important issue today in schools, probably the most important issue in education, because it does benefit all young people, all students in schools. It obviously provides for a restructuring, or provides for a focus on the restructuring of our schools. That in itself is a benefit to all the students who attend that school and all the families who own those students. It does save money in the long run, money which can in turn be used to the greater benefit of a larger number of young people in our schools. But maybe most importantly, it develops attitudes about how people work with other people, how people live in our society together and support one another and develop community. Community is defined in the Oxford Dictionary as that to which we all belong and within which we mutually support one another. I would like to see that kind of community developed, and I think this issue of integration, if properly implemented, can lead us to that ultimate goal of a community where everyone feels they belong. And when we achieve that, we will all benefit.
To help develop relationships when integration was first implemented, students were offered credits for assisting schoolmates with special needs.
For me, I joined the course because I wanted to help. But now it goes way beyond that. With Lucy and Mary, Jenny, anybody, they are my friends now. And even if I'm not in the course next year, I'd still go and do as much with them as I could because they're my friends now. It's no longer just help.
Yeah, I agree with Lisa. That's same with me.
It's just, it is like just a really good experience. Like Lisa said, and Lori, like you'll get a lot of, like you'll learn to be more patient, and also like learn not to judge a book by the cover, kind of like you don't look at a person and say, oh, he's handicapped or she's handicapped, and not go talk to them or get to know them. Whereas you'll learn to judge people by like what's inside of them and what they have to give.
I know one day I went into Jen's homeroom, and I was going to talk to Margaret and tell her that I didn't think it was a good day to go out with Jen because I was in tears. I was really upset. And I walked into the room and Jen saw me. I didn't want her to see me because I was afraid, you know, that she'd be upset. And she comes right over to me and she puts her arm around me and she goes, Michelle, don't cry. It's okay. And then she gives me a big hug and I just, oh, you know, here I wasn't gonna go because I was afraid I'd upset her, and she's so sweet. And she just made me in such a good mood. We went out anyway.
Jenny has taught me that people who, even though they have certain things they can't do, disabilities, not handicaps, they can love, they can share feelings, they can recognize people, how they really are, they can sympathize with them. Jenny can do all those things, even though she can't physically do very much. And she has taught me how to recognize things like that in people, how to love them and care.
She is learning how to be a teenager from them. And that's probably the most important and wonderful thing that's happening, is that she's really, I don't know, sort of becoming really her own person. Her sense of humor, her fun, they love it. And it's very obvious that the kids like Jenny. And she's blossoming in that friendship, and that's going back and forth. It is really wonderful for us. It's just such a hopeful, it's a happy kind of thing. I think to recognize that the qualities that we know about Jenny, that other people really appreciate them and really like her. That's really means a lot. And it's great, it's wonderful on a Sunday afternoon when a friend calls and says, you know, could Jenny come out with us for a while, and we'd like to go to McDonald's, or we'd like to go whatever, you know, doing something, go out for a drive, whatever, and or to a movie, and know that Jenny now knows what that means and looks forward to it with great joy. And I don't know, we all...
Just getting a phone call.
Yeah,
The twinkle in her eye when she finds out that the call's for her.
Yeah, all of those things that didn't happen before are happening now. And it's just, it's marvelous for her, and it is also marvelous for us, because it gives us so much hope and such a good feeling about what the community can be.
Jenny's family has hope for the future.
A community where everyone feels they belong.
It's marvelous for her, and it is also marvelous for us.
She has taught me how to recognize things like that in people, how to love them and care.